For the last 50 years, governments, doctors, big food have told you the same lie. High cholesterol is clogging your arteries and causing heart disease. They made you terrified of eggs, butter, and red meat while pushing low fat diets that actually made things worse. The truth, cholesterol is not the villain. The real silent killer that nobody is really talking about is visceral fat. So, what if I told you that we've had it all wrong for decades? What if I told you that cholesterol is not the problem, it's only an association? And the real problem is hidden deep inside of you, and it's visceral fat. Visceral fat is wrapped around your heart and your internal organs, causing plaque buildup. Meanwhile, your body is sending cholesterol to try to repair the damage. The association we got wrong. Visceral fat causes chronic inflammation. It releases pro-inflammatory substances that can travel through your bloodstream throughout your body, damaging organs and potentially causing serious conditions like heart disease, diabetes, and certain cancers. It triggers a systematic inflammatory response in your body. This all interferes with your hormones and can alter hunger and feeling like fullness hormones. And it also can promote fat storage. All of this contributes to atherosclerosis, hardening of the arteries, and that's also known as plaque buildup. Okay. So, in simple terms, visceral fat damages blood vessels and accelerates the formation of plaque. Now, I know there's really two different ways you can look at plaque. There's soft plaque and there's hard plaque. And the hard plaque is what you can actually see on like a CAC score. That definitely shows potential for heart disease and so forth. Soft plaque is something that hasn't gotten hardened yet. So it's kind of in the earlier stages, but there could be even a higher risk of issue because you could have some of that soft plaque break away and create a blood clot and so forth, which could cause a heart attack, that kind of stuff. So either way, the first thing you see when it comes from visceral fat is the soft plaque. And then eventually over time, it actually hardens. And that's what actually causes the issues with the blockages in your arteries that can be detected later. So anyway, whole point here is that it is not cholesterol that is the problem here, okay? So cholesterol is actually a very vital thing for your body. Your body uses it for cell structure, uses it for hormone production, vitamin D synthesis. Yes, your body actually uses cholesterol to create vitamin D when your skin is exposed to sunlight. So you're sitting out there getting a tan, whatever, your body is using cholesterol to make vitamin D. Cholesterol is used for digestion and for brain and nervous system development and function. So these are all things that cholesterol is needed for within your body. Now you hear a lot about LDL and HDL cholesterol, but they're actually not cholesterol. Cholesterol is just cholesterol, okay? LDL and HDL are how you transport cholesterol and other proteins, other things throughout your body, right? Like minerals, so forth. Okay. When visceral fat is wrapped around your heart and internal organs, creating that inflammation and potential damage to your blood vessels and arteries, your body sends cholesterol to try to fight the problems. So your body sends the cholesterol through LDL. Okay. Back in the day, Ansel Keys came up with this theory that cholesterol caused plaque buildup and heart disease because of a misinterpreted association. Studies were done and funded by major corporations who had a stake in cholesterol being the culprit. Those studies were inconclusive. Okay, they were inconclusive. Here's why. Some people were found with high cholesterol to have heart disease. Some people with low cholesterol had heart disease. Okay. The other side of the coin, some people with high cholesterol did not have heart disease. Some people with low cholesterol had heart disease. But here's the thing. Certain corporations, particularly sugar industry, needed there to be a smoking gun on cholesterol. Okay. They wanted to take the blame off of sugar and processed foods, stuff like that, and put the blame onto cholesterol. So they paid the scientists to cover up some of the studies and only release certain parts to the study. And you can say this is crazy, this is conspiracy type of stuff, but the New York Times talked about this about 10 years ago in an article where there was literally information found, and I can't remember. I think it was at Stanford or something like that, but there were documents found that had never been seen before that showed that the sugar industry paid off these scientists to only put out the information that actually showed the association with cholesterol as the problem and downplayed sugar. Okay. And that's really when it all started. For decades, the medical industry has hammered down the idea that cholesterol is causing plaque buildup and heart disease. But the true villain has always been visceral fat all along. Now, when it comes to visceral fat, it's a little bit different. There's a few different types of fat, but the main ones here we're talking about, there's subcutaneous fat that you can really see, right? So like when a baby is born and you see those puffy cheeks and so forth, that's because of subcutaneous fat, okay? Visceral fat, you can't really see it. It's more inside. You're only going to know if you have like a DEXA scan done, or if you have an MRI done, something like that, to know what kind of visceral fat you have in your body. Typically, it's been mentioned that if you have a very round stomach, you probably have a good amount of visceral fat actually in your internal, around your organs and that kind of stuff. But for the most part, you can't really tell that there's visceral fat there. Visceral fat is going to come from eating a lot of carbohydrates, a lot of processed foods. And I have done different videos talking about visceral fat and how to get rid of visceral fat. And as a matter of fact, I have one actually right over here that if you want to check that video out, go to that video and I'll see you in there.